This is Gemara Sanhedrin Daf Kuf Gimel, and once again, all the learning should be an incredible zchus Rafua Shalima for Tinoik, Mrim Ahuva, B'Seich Sha'ar Chayle Yisrael. We're holding on Kuf Beis Amid Beis. We're about 15 lines from the bottom. The first one in line is Vayetze. We're in the middle of discussing the fabulous story with Achov. Continues the Gemara Vayetze Aruach V'Yamar Lifnei Hashem. And the Ruach came and it stood before Hashem, and it said, I will entice you. It responded Hashem, Hashem he loved. And Hashem says to the Ruach, Bima, with what? And he responds, Ruach, Sheker, Bifi Kol Anaviyov. Says the Ruach, I'll go forth and put a Ruach Sheker, a lying spirit in the mouth of all the Naviyim. Vayomer. Hashem responds, Tipoteh, Vegam Tuchol, you will entice and you will prevail. Save Asakin, go out and do as you said, says Hashem to the Ruach. These are Psukim in Malachim Aleph. Says the Gemara, my Ruach, what does it mean this Ruach? Amar Yechon Ruchoi Shel Nevusa Yisraeli. This word of Nevusa Yisraeli might say, what does it mean, go out? Amar Avina Tzei Mimichitzas Shochin, same mechitzasi, excuse me. Go out from my mechitza shchein kisiv, as the pasuk says, Dover shekarim lo yikar leneged einav. One who tells lies should not be before me. He says Hashem. Hashem himself is emes, that he cannot stand any form of sheker. And since the Ruach said it's going to be a lying spirit, Hashem responds, say to leave my presence. Amar Ababa, says Ababa, I know this is what people say. Depara kine machrev beise. One who gives in to desire kine for vengeance, for nekama, machrev beise, destroys his house. As a result, for the need to bring about the death of Achav, this Ruach Navais, the spirit, was banished, was sent out front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Continues the Gemara, V'yas Achav es Hasheira. More about why Achav was never Zeicha to come to Eilam Haba, says the Pasik, and Achav min Hasheira. V'yosef Achav lasois Achav es Hashem, and Achav continued to entice and in anger HaKadosh Baruch Hu Elokei Yisrael, Mikol Malchei Yisrael, more than all the kings that Shahayu Lefanav. Amar Rav Yechon Kazav Alta also Shamroin. What did Achav do? He wrote on the doors of Shamron, which was the capital city, Achav Kafar B'Elokei Yisrael. He inscribed that Achav has denied the God of Israel. Lefikach in Chelek B'Elokei Yisrael. That's why he's cut off. He's not going to have a Chelek in Olam Haba. Continues the Gemara, moving along from Achav was Achav's grandson Ochaz Yohu. Says the pasuk Vayivakish, it's Ochaz Yohu. Vayilkedu v'hu mischabe b'shoimron. And Yerchadu was, Achazyo was wanted and he was captured as he's been hiding in Shamra. Achazyo would scratch out the names of Hashem, Rahman al-Tzan, from the Torah. And instead of the Shem Hashem, he would write other gods into the Sefer Torah itself. And finally, the last of the three kings we learned in the Mishnah, the don't have a chilek in Olam Haba was Menashe. Says the Gemara, Menashe were 6 lines from the bottom of Kuf Beis Mebeis. Who was Menashe? Shenosha Ka. He forgot Ka Hashem. Davarachem Menashe Shehinase Shehin Shias Yisrael Lavim Shabashamayim. He caused Klal Yisrael to be forgotten by Hashem in heaven. When also how do we know he's never going to come to Olam Haba? Ben Menashe was king for 12 years. Was 12 years old when he became king. And he reigned for 55 years. He did similar to Achav Melech Yisrael. And therefore the Gemara learns, just like Achav in Leichelek B'Olam Haba, Menashe in Leichelek L'Olam Haba. But continues the Gemara quoting the Mishnah. That was the Shita of the Tanna Kama. But Rav Yehuda Omer that indeed Menashe yesh leichelek l'olam haba. Shenemar vayispalel Menashe el Hashem Vayater Eloi, as the pasuk says, that Menashe davened to Hashem. Vayaser Eloi, and Kadosh Baruch Hu listened to him. Amar Rav Yochanan. So what is this machlekes between the Tanakama and Rav Yehuda? Whether Menashe indeed is going to be able to come to Olam Haba. Amar Rav Yochanan Shnei Mikrecha Darshu. Both Tanakama and Rav Yehuda darshan the same pasuk Shenemar, as the pasuk says, "Do nesatim lezaza l'chol malchus l'chol mamlachais haaretz beglal Menashe ben Yechizkiyahu." I'll make the people of Yehuda a shuddering for all the malchus of the earth on account of Menashe. So Marasav Regam Menashe She'asa Tshuva V'inu Lo Yavud. One opinion, the second sheet of Yehuda holds, because Menashe did Tshuva, whereas the rest of those did Averis did not. Umar Savar, as we turn over to Kov Gimel, Amid Aleph, Umar Savar, Bigla Menashe, Deloi, Avad Tshuva. So they both darshan in the same pasuk, opposite drashas, that whether Menashe did indeed do Tshuva, or whether unfortunately he did not. And of course that will directly impact the two shitas, whether Menashe was one that was able to get to Olam Haba, the shita of Rav Yehuda, or not, the shita of the Tana Kama. Amar Rav Yochanan, says Rav Yochanan, Kolaimer Menashe in lechelik Olam Haba. Marbe Yedei and Shabali Tshuva. If you say Menashe is not going to go to Olam Haba, you're weakening the hands of Bali Tshuva. The Tana Kamid Rav Yochanan Menashe also Tshuva l'shleishim l'shalosh shanim. Menashe did Tshuva for 33 years. The Chsiv, as the pasuk says, 5 lines down, Kuf Gimel Ben Aleph. Ben Shema Seishanim Menashe Memolche for 12 years. Menashe was, 12 years old when he became king. 55 years he was king. And he did this evil like Achav did. B'ma kama melech Achav. So how long was Achav king? 22 years. Menashe kama molach. How many years was Menashe king? 55 years. We subtract 55 from 22. Dalminayu. Esivitartin from the 55. Bashlu tlas and utlas. So indeed, he was evil like Menashe for 22 years. But left over is 33 years that we see Menashe did Tshuva, says Rav Yochanan. We see he did Tshuva, and says Rav Yochanan, if you say he's not going to go to Olam Haba like the Shita of Tanakama, you're weakening the hands of Ali Tshuva, as we see Menashe was an incredible Baal Tshuva. Continues the Gemara, Amar Rav Yochanan, Mishom Rashbi. Says Rav Yochanan, the name of Rashi, Maidach Seb, what is the meaning of the pasuk? V'yishmei elav, v'yichater loi. What does the pasuk mean that Hashem listened to him? Vayichater loy, vayater loy mi ba'alei. Should have said vayater loy. What is vayichater loy? Melamed, says the Gemara. What did Hashem do? This king Menashe, after 22 years of doing terrible aveiros, finally he's doing tshuva and he's davening to Hashem. Sha'as like Kadosh Baruch Hu kimin machteres berakia. Hashem made like a tunnel, a machteres in heavens, kidei, why? Lekabloi b'tshuva m'mei midas adin. In order to be able to accept Menashe's tshuva from the midas adin, he had to make a tunnel under the kisei hakavod to allow Menashe's tefillos to enter pshat number 1. Pshat number 2, what is the meaning of the pasuk? Bereshis mamlachas Yoyakim and Yoshayahu. At the beginning of the reign of Yoyakim, the pasuk says, Bereshis mamlachas Sidkiyahu. And the pasuk says, the beginning of the reign of Sidkiyahu, until this time, were they not already kings? What do these psukim mean? That Bereshis in the beginning explains the Gemara. Hashem was going to destroy the whole world. Because of Yoyakim, Hashem was going to destroy the entire world. Hashem looked into the dar of Yoyakim and his karoi died and he was calmed. Because similarly, Hashem was going to destroy the whole world. He looked into his dar and he was calmed. Says the Gemara, 1 second. So in the second pasuk, it's Sidkiyahu. It wasn't the dar of Sidkiyahu. Sidkiyahu himself. So the first pasuk, it was the dar. Second pasuk was Sidkiyahu himself. Says Gemara, Sitkio, Nami Kseva Sitkio. It also says, Yasa Rabbi Hashem, Shaya Biyadai, Limchais, Veloy Micha. Excuse me, Yasa Rabbi Hashem. So ask the Gemara, it seemingly Sitkio himself wasn't such a good person. So why are you saying that because of Sitkio, the Dar was saved? Explains the Gemara. Shaya Biyadai Limchais, Veloy Micha. Sitkio's Avira was that he could have protested. However, indeed, he was a tzaddik, and that's why the Dar was saved. A third pshat. What is the meaning of the pasuk? Ish chacham nishmat is ish avel v'ragaz v'sochach ve'inachas. The chacham will fight with the fools, with avel. V'ragaz v'sochach, he rages and he smiles. Ve'inachas is nothing to fear. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ka'asti al-achas, says Hashem, I became angry. Amelech achas nusativ beyond Malchei Damasek, and I delivered him into the hands of the Melech Damasek. Zibach v'kiter le'elokeihem. And what did he do? He went and he sacrificed, and he offered ketairis to their God. Shenever zechel elokei Damasek. Hamakim boy, who hit him, vayomer. And Achaz vayomer, and he said, says Achaz, ki elokei Malchei Aram, the gods of the king of Aram, he ma'azrim, Oyisam, the gods of the king of Aram will help them. So says Menashe, I as well, says Achaz, excuse me, I as well will bring Ketores and serve that God. But says the Gemara, they were to him, to Arun Ulechol Yisrael, Sachakti im Amatzia. I smiled and I gave good fortune on Amatzia of Yehuda. And what happened after Hashem did good for him? What does he do? He brings Elohim to their gods and he bows down to them. Shenemar, Leilohim Lefneim, in the first medium-sized line, Yishtachav Elohem Yaktir. Unfortunately, instead of coming back to Kadosh Baruch Hu, he's serving the idols. Amra Papa, Hainu Damri Inchi. This is what people say in the first very wide line. B'chai le lemar d'lo. I cried to the Mar, I cried to the Master, and he didn't realize. Chaychu lemar v'lo yada. I smiled at the Master and he didn't realize. Woe is this Master who doesn't understand what is going on, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And finally, the fourth pshat, says the pasuk, all the officers of the Melech Bavel went into Yerushalayim and they sat down at the Shar HaTavech. What is this? It's the place where they decided halacha is. It's the place where the Sanhedrin sat. In the place where the Master used to hang his weapon. Tamin kolba rayaye kolte tala. In that very place. Now, the base shepherd hangs his jug. We see that in the Makam of the Sanhedrin, an incredible place in which they used to judge and give out rules to Klal Yisrael, was the place of the destruction. So it continues the Gemara with Joshua going into the unfortunate kings, the Malachim of Malchus Yehuda. What is the meaning of the pasuk 6 lines down to the very wide lines? I'll stay ish. Otzel avarti. I passed by the field of a lazy man, the vineyard of a man without sense, who was overgrown with thorns. Kasu panav charulim, its face was covered with other types of thorns. V'geder avanav narsa, and its stones and the stone fence lay in ruins. I'll stay ish atzel. So now the Gemara darshins the pasuk. I'll stay ish atzel avarti ze'achas. Al Kerem Adam Chazar Lev Zeh Menashe, evil king number 1, evil king number 2. This is Amoin, who is the son of Menashe, another evil king. This is Sidkiyo. Shenechra Beis Hamikdash. Unfortunately, Biyamav, the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed in his days. Pshat number 1. Pshat number 2 of Amar Rav Chisda teaches Rav Chisda Amar Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba. 10 lines in the bottom. The first one line is Biyamav. The 4 kitais that unfortunately will not accept, will not greet the Shechina Lasalavai, Kaleitzim, those who make jokes out of everything, the scoffers, Kachakranim, those who lie, Katchanifim, those who flatter, Kamisabri Lashon Hara, unfortunate groups that Lasalavai will not merit to see the Shechina. Kaleit to this lemech chodes lo sasim kachakron de chsev de vishkarim lo yikoin the negative of karchanif de chsev kilo lefanav chanav yavoy kat mispri lashon hara de chsev kilo al chafetz resha atali gurcha ra. Tzadik atak includes the pasuk, you are a tzadik le'megurcha ra, and you will not be amongst those that dwell in evil. Pshat number 3, Amar Rav Chisda, Amar Rav Yirmiyah, 5 lines in the bottom of Rabbi Night. What is the meaning of the pasuk? Lo yisu ne'elecha rav negelo yigrav ba'alecha. No evil before you. There'll be no plague in your tent. Lo so ne'elecha ra. What is that? Zeh shelo yishloit ben yitzhara. Yitzhara will not rule over you. V'negelo yigrav ba'alecha. Come up from the road. You won't find your wife a safek nida davar acher. That you will not have terrifying dreams, and bad thoughts. That literally burns his food barabim, he paskins incorrectly. Until this point, Shlomo HaMelech's father is giving him a bracha, mikan ve'ilach, berachasa yima. He continues to psukim with the bracha of his mother. Kimalach, if it's avalach l'shvach b'chol derech hachamim suducha v'kaimer, al shachvas and didrach v'kaimer. Ad kan berachasa yima. That's the mother's bracha. It's mikan ve'ilach, berachasa shemayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Shemayim is giving him a bracha as we turn over to Kov Gimel Amud Beis. Continues the Gemara. Kivi choshak v'afalteu v'asagveu kiyoda shemi yegreiru v'aneu im yonochi v'tzarach chalsev v'chavdeu rechyam v'maseu v'areu. We should see, of course, psukim in Tehillim in which we say. Continues the Gemara back to the Malachim of Yehuda, and we're going to go from the rishus of the Malachim into defining and explaining rishus, unfortunately, of people in general. Amar Reish Lakish Ma'idich, what is the meaning of the pasuk? 5 lines down. Kov Gimel Amebez Yimana Meirshayim Ayra Muzuraya Rama Tishaver. And from the wicked will be withheld their light, and the high arm will be broken. Mipnei Ma Ayin Shel Rishayim Taluya. What is the reason that the ayin of the word Rishayim is higher than other letters in that word? Rishayim, Rish, Shin, Ayin, Yud, Mem. The ayin is written a little bit higher. It's not on the same line as the Rish, the Shem, the Yud, and the Mem. It sounds like almost like the ayin is not there. And explains the Gemara, because without the ayin, the word Rishayim comes Rashim. Kim Shinas Adam Rosh Milmata. When a person becomes Rosh Milmata, poor, doesn't have any friends in this world, Nasa Rosh Milmala, he'll be the same up in heaven. Says the Gemara, but this way you want to teach us, leave out the ayin at all. Rav Yechon, Rav Loza, Chanim, and they Kavod Shal David, Chanam, they Kavod Shal Nachami ben Chaklaya. Continues the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan. Well, 12 lines down, the first one a line is Nechemia. Tanu Rabbanan Menashe Ayam. Menashe Ayam. Soini Chamish v'chamisha Panim B'Ta'ira. Says the Gemara, Menashe would darshan 55 different meetings in the book of the Teiras Kayanim, Vayikra. Of course, always beautiful Siyata D'Shmaya, as we've just begun Sefer Vayikra to have Teiras Kayanim in the Daf. Keneged Shnei Malchusai, corresponding to the years of his reign, as we already learned, Menashe reigned for 55 years. Achav Shmon v'chamisha, Achav darshan 85. Yeravam Meir Shleisha. Says the Gemara Tani, we learned in a brayso, Yeram Meir Aimer. Avshalom in the chilek l'olam haba. Avshalom does not have any chilek in the next world. Shenemar. Vayaku as Avshalom vayimiseu vayaku. Explains the Gemara vayaku b'lam hazeh vayimiseu l'olam haba. Tanim Shimon Lazar Mishum Rameir Achaz va'achzoya v'chol malchi Yisrael shekas v'hem. All the kings that it says about them, what v'yasara, and they did evil b'nei Hashem lo chayin v'lo nidoinim. Or neither chayin will not be alive; they will not come back to life with the chis hamisim, but they're not going to go to Gehenim. V'gam dam naki shavoich Menashe continues to psukim about Menashe. Menashe will spill a lot of innocent blood. Menashe harbe ma'oid ad shamoli yishlayim peh lepeh, till Yishlayim will be filled from this end to that end. Levad mechatasay asher hechati es Yehuda. Aside for the aveiros that he caused in Yehuda, lasais hara b'nei Hashem. Explains the Gemara. Hachatargimu shari Yeshayahu. But Marava Amro Shasatzelem Masoi Elef B'nei Adam. Either it's because he killed Menashe, because he killed the Navi Yeshaya, or because he made a desire that was so heavy, it required 1,000 people to carry it. Elef B'nei Adam. And each and every day, Kulam. And each and every day, after the 1,000 people would carry this idol, when this evil king Menashe would kill them, the idol would crush them, as it was too heavy for them to carry. Continues the Gemara, Kaman Azlaha, whose opinion is that, which Tamar Rachana Shekula Neshama Shal Tzadik Echa Keneged Kol Ha'olam Kulai. Whose opinion is it that the Neshama of a Tzadik is equal to the entire world? Kaman Damar Yeshayahu Harag is the opinion that Menashe killed Yeshayahu, that from the fact that the pasuk doesn't say he killed Yeshayahu and Avi, but rather, what does the pasuk say? That he filled the whole Yerushalayim with blood. It shows us that killing one tzaddik, the death of one tzaddik, is as if the whole Yerushalayim is filled with blood. It continues the Gemara, Ksib Pesel, Ksib Salim. One pasuk says he made a pesel, one idol. Other pasuk said he said multiple. Amrav Yechon B'Tchila Aslay parts of Echad, he made one idol. B'Seif Aslay Arba Batzufim, 4 of them. K'dei Shetira Shechina V'Atichais. Why did he do that? He wanted that in every direction that one would enter into the Beis HaMikdash, or whichever direction the Shechina would come to the Beis HaMikdash, would see this terrible idol and get upset. Achaz Hamidai Ba'aliyah. Achaz made an avodah zarah in the aliyah, in the upper alleys, upper chambers, upper floors of the Beis HaMikdash. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Aliyas Achaz, and the Mizbeach on the roof of Achaz upper chambers. That was Achaz. Menashe put up idol in the Heichal. Shem v'Yosef especial Ashir Shasu v'Beis Asher. Amar Hashem el David v'al Shlomo b'nai b'Beis Hazeh b'Yishlayim shebacharti kol shivtei Yisrael asam eshmi la'olam. Amoin, another one of the evil kings. What did he do? Hechniso lebeis Kodesh HaKodashim. He brought the idol all the way into the Kodesh HaKodashim, the end of the narrow line. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Ki kotzar hamsiya mishtara b'machasa sara hamasa mihishtareya. Amar Rav Yochanan. No, I skipped. Excuse me. My Ki kotzar hamata mishtareya machasa sara kihis kanes. The couch is too short and the cover is too narrow. Explains the Gemara. What does it mean that the couch is too short? The first very wide line. This couch, referring to the Beis HaMikdash, is too short for 2 people to roll over it at one time, and therefore it can't have both the Shechina and avodah zarah. What does the pasuk mean when it says, and the cover is too narrow? Amar Rav Shmuel Nachmani, onto the second very wide line. Amar Rav Yochanan, with this we're going to conclude. When he reached this pasuk, he would cry, and he would explain about whom it says, he gathers like a mound of the water of the sea. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're making a cover that's short by him. And finally, another Aveir of Achaz, Menashe, and Amoin. Achaz Batlas Avaida. Achaz stopped the Avaida Beis HaMikdash, V'chasam es HaTorah, and he sealed off the Torah. Shnemar Tzur to Uda Chasam Torah Melamuda Bilimudei. Menashe Kader Achzarias, as we saw already, he scratched out the Achzarias in the Sefer Torah. V'haras es Mizbeach, and he destroyed the Mizbeach. Amoin Saraf es HaTorah. The Helam. Shemamis like our mizbeach, and cobwebs would grow in the mizbeach. He didn't allow them to bring any karbanos. Achaz hitir as erva. Achaz went further and he said that erva zinus is mutter. Menashe ba'al achaisai. Menashe was together with his own sister. Amun ba'al imai with his mother. Shenemar kim amun harbe hashama. Rav Yochanan Rav Elazar Chanam shesarif is atayra. Chanam shaba al imai. Different shitas what Avir was. Amr lo imai. His mother said, "What are you doing? Is there any ana to be together with the one which you came from, to be together with your mother?" Amar la Amain said to her, "Klamani ois ella." Lahachas says Bayri says Amain. It's true. I'm doing it just unfortunately to anger Hashem. And finally, Ki asa Yoyakam comes, Amar, says Yoyakam, Kamai lo yadi larguzi. The earlier ones, they didn't know how to anger Hashem. It says on Yoyakam, Klom anu tzrichem ela lo oiroi. Do we need anything? Do we need Hashem other than for His light, the sun? Yesh lo zahav parvayim shanu mishamshim bai. We have parvayim, gold, which gives off light. Yitol oiroi. And screams out Yoyakam that Hashem take back His son. We don't need you, Hashem. Amrulai, the people said to Yoyakam, the Tzaddikim said, Val Kesev Vizav Shalayu. The Kesev and Zav, whose is it? Of course it's Hashem. Shenamar li'akasev li'azav num Hashem savakais. Amr lahem, Yoyakam responds, Kvar nasanu lanu, no. Hashem gave us the Kesev and the Azav. Shenamar, Shemayim Hashem, V'aras Lasan li'adam. The horrible progression of Aveiros of these evil kings. We're going to stop over here. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata Dishmaya.